So
What is Loom?
Loom is
Loom.
a online platform in which you can record videos.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, very, very convenient. Super convenient and thus the subject of today's IDpalooza. So with that intro out of the way, or that clarification, I think everyone else has heard me talk of Loom in the past, right? Or at least making videos for clients. Okay. So I thought it was very apropos and fascinating to begin with to hear Joel's comments first off and say, oh, hey, let's start off with that. Some kind of misconceptions about what these videos are supposed to do. So Joel's like, oh my God, I freeze during well, I have to leave messages on the phone, never mind making videos for clients, blah blah. So misconception number one would be your camera has to be on. At this point, I've done improv and stuff, so I probably can do it. I've experimented with it when I did a video for Ghislain at Via. Yeah, the feedback was, "Hey, this is fun." Yeah, okay. So you could definitely add some facial expression, anything like we're in the world of TikTok and everything, and people in reaction videos. So you could act all animated and whatever, and probably engage the clients that way. But you don't have to. You don't have to go that far. Really, most of the time, 99% of the time, I create these videos just by sharing the screen and the screen only. Loom gives you the option. Now that Catherine, you brought it up, let me just show you a little bit. Could you load faster, Loom? I'm trying to sell you here, and yeah. Anyway, well, whenever this comes around, it gives you the options of recording the screen, recording yourself. So like here we go. Screen only, camera only, or screen and camera. And if it's screen and camera, let's humor this for a second here. Oh, I don't know if, oh no, I can't do this because I'm using the camera for Zoom. Okay, never mind. But you saw a little, yeah. Skip for now. If you do use screen and camera, you have a camera, a little bubble of yourself in the lower left-hand corner, and you could actually make it smaller or bigger. And I'm not even sure what this is for. Oh, even bigger still, depending on the size of your ego or whatever. And have fun that way. So that having been said, yeah. So the camera is not necessary, and I think the misconception number two was like somehow this has to be some sort of performance. Again, up until recently, I believe only I have taken improv, but now I can't say that anymore because Anna has done so as well. But it's not about putting up a stage thing. You're not performing cats or an actual circus show for the circus or whatever the case may be. It's really like think about this way: you're in meetings with these people. You have some sort of rapport, and you're all capable of establishing some sort of rapport with people, like a nice little conversational tone going, not even very formal. It's like you're leaving a message, like Joel says, but in that same tone with the same people you've been talking about with anyway. So I don't find a big deal there either. I think it's even you could even say, yeah, it's part of like project management, it's part of efficient project management, which I can get back to in a sequel about the focus and all that. This is definitely something to save tons and tons and tons of time with, and I'll probably touch upon that again later on. But really, for me, it was a very primary tool that when I think about having a lot to say and not wanting to do it the old-fashioned way, with a lot of writing and or in this case, the creation of what they were talking about, a report. They wanted a report at the end of the day, and it's like, damn, I like writing, but I didn't want to do the report because it'll probably turn out to be a thesis. What has, jokes aside with the circus, what frustrated me is, oh yeah, their head is anti-training, but all this, oh, just give us a little plan. Every plan, like every detail of the plan, plants seeds for the need for training, even if I try to avoid it. So as I'll make mention in a little while, no matter what I did, there's tons of details, and I'm not willing with a limited budget and everything to play along and write a thesis, which the client herself said, one of the clients herself said, I'll probably just end up curing my insomnia anyway. So hey, let's just do it this way. Video. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. I say a video is worth 1,000,000 words. And I'd rather make a 20-minute video like I did in this case than type out 1,000,000 words. So it's just there. Another thing I would say that I said in the past is that I don't want to use tricycles. I want to use, anyone remember? Oh, come on, folks. Not tricycle. What
What,
you know,
what is a
mode of
tricycle?
transportation. Pardon?
A tricycle?
Yeah,
Tricycle.
tricycle. Like
Oh,
in
okay.
terms of getting things done, in terms of getting things done, you know, there's a way. There are different ways to get from point A to point B. So writing out a report of everything that needs to be done and all that for me is a tricycle because you're pedaling away, you're wasting all this energy like mad, and you're consuming a whole bunch of time. Whereas you can get the same job done. My metaphor was, borrowed from someone else. I don't take credit for it. With a rocket ship. So for me, this is a rocket ship. I need to get my message across hella fast, and this is the way I choose to do it. So I say the video is pictures worth 1,000 words, videos worth 1,000,000 words. That implies maybe that's another misconception that it would just be me as a talking head, as if it was a podcast or a YouTube rant or whatever. It's none of that. For me to be efficient and to get my point across, I still have to create some sort of presentation that drives home my point. I don't think I've ever done anything where it's just me babbling for 20 minutes. It's like I have to express my thoughts and then explain them to the other party. So before I get into playing parts of this video as a demo, really comes down to where is it? Putting together something to talk about, so that when you do talk about it, you will have already thought about it, like I did the other day, or I took practically the whole day basically to do this. And once you put this together, then the conversation becomes that much more natural because you thought it through and you know your points and your arguments and so forth. So what I did to present, it's not always going to be this way. Things are going to be a lot simpler, but this is very challenging because there practically was another metaphor that I used, like dozens of puzzle pieces. Oh, we want this, we want that, but we don't know how it's going to all come together. So I had to really sequester myself, hire that kid with a huge bubble to hide and say, I need all my focus on this thing, So let me give you a very quick tour of this to give you an idea of how I managed to put everything together. It's almost a side course about putting everything together, and then how I was able to put this in a Loom presentation. So, Cirque du Soleil, blah, blah, blah. They wanted a training plan. I just said as a warning, hey, I put a whole bunch of stuff together, but it's still subject to revision because you may need clarifications. Maybe some of the stuff isn't realistic to you, but this is based off past experience and best practices and so forth. So this is their stuff. I'll just skip right through it. I was given from Ed this screen as the centerpiece of what we're supposed to do with our time remaining with the circus. I'll help them, advise them on how to put together these 4 things. So basically, they talked about having a module 0, meaning an introductory video about what's going to happen next to the circus, because everyone's running around unsure. We literally talked to 30 people, exhausting, exasperating, whatever. Then there's an FAQ, like basically frequently asked questions, or foire aux questions, like an intro session where people can ask questions, and then the actual minimal training will take place, and then people will support those who were trained. They'll be shadowed, and they can work on the new computer functions. This is all about learning new computer software that helps manage the operations of Cirque du Soleil. A lot of it is SAP and some other stuff called Kim and Baz, some more minor affairs that also have to be learned. And everyone's like, how do we teach them without training? Because we don't feel like training them. Whatever, people. So the idea was here that I was struggling with this a lot because there's the idea of four simple things, but at the same time, they're trying to stuff a lot of details here that I could barely see, but I'll get to that in a sec. And I knew that I wanted to keep it simple, but at the same time, there were tons and tons and tons of details. And to hell, like if I would write a report about this, it would be longer than my bloody thesis for a mostly unappreciative company with a couple of good apples too. I mean, well, plenty of good apples, but not. But the direction doesn't want us overly involved. So, like, how the hell is I going to do this? So I had to like think this out, and I'll be as quick as I can here because you don't need to know all the details. But I had to do this as much for them as for me. I said, okay, let's start with the fact that you have 4 steps. Great, you have 4 steps. First of all, I can't read shit, so I'm going to whiten them. And then I see a whole bunch of everything treated the same. I don't like it. I'm a man of structure. I come from engineering. I see that there's some headings and then some information. I'm going to make a distinction here of what are the headings and what is the information, the data associated to each. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Oh, okay, so here we have à quoi acteur quand ou durée publique, quoi acteur quand ou durée publique, right? Quoi sujet, why is it not acteur? What the hell's going on? I don't like this. I want my structure here. Well, you know, what happened to the acteur? There's not going to be any acteur. You know, like my mind thinks this way. Okay, you got the quand, durée. What about the public? What about the statut? Come on, people. À partir d'enable now, like bits and pieces, puzzle pieces, all over the place, sprinkled about. Sometimes they forget them, sometimes they put them in. Here, there's absolutely nothing. Although I do know that I have to associate things with them, and they're pieces. Just somehow the people didn't think of it. So I'm like, okay, I'm not happy with this. Next, I'm gonna throw this away from the side. I'm gonna put this in a parking lot for the side. I'm just gonna focus on this. So I'm simplifying it, clarifying it, and then I say module 0. Yeah, that's if we have a suite of modules, which that many of us can relate to. I'm thinking about it in particular right now with module zeros, and I said no, it's not a module 0 in this case. It's just a video, so I don't like that name. We have fact twice. That's confusing. I want this to be more distinctive and more accurate. I'm going to call this an announcement because it's just a 3 to 5 minute video. This is que c'est FAQ. This formation in general with no S. This is a suivi. It's a follow-up. It's a follow-up to the training to make sure people practice and consolidate their knowledge and make sure that they gain permanent competence and don't forget everything the week after. So now, like I'm Georgifying it, if you will. I am turning this into I'm cleaning up the crap to make it into a formula, a foundation that I'm comfortable with, that I can build upon. I can't build upon this. This is appropriate enough, a little bit like the Leaning Tower of Pisa behind me, because if I try to build on this, chances are it's going to crash to the ground with all the inconsistencies that are going on. So I said, great. These are my 4 building blocks. Then I'm like, okay, why do we have 4 building blocks? I think of it almost philosophically. What do we want to accomplish between each? So I'm thinking, okay, well, right now people aren't certain where they're going. They want to be. I want them to be. I consider them to be informed once you get the announcement, and once they go from the announcement to the question period, they're prepared for the training. Once they go through the training, they're trained, formé, and then once they're go through the suivi, they're fully adapted. So now I have, like, I'm still laying the foundation. I'm still fleshing out the train of thought, getting rid of inconsistencies and crap, and reforming it to the way I like that I could build upon, and build upon. I do, and I won't go too granular here, but I said, okay, what do you need for the annonce? And I have the what, the who, the when, the where, the duration, the status, whether it's mandatory or not. And I keep this to the side to say, okay, what do I need for this one? Well, I have to keep in mind the big picture here to make sure that I'm designing this so that I keep going to the right successfully as quickly as possible. Okay, what do I have to do for phase for the FAQ portion? The who, the what, the who, the when, the where, the that. Very, very Frank Boyd like we go through. So not a coincidence. What do I need for this guy? And then same thing. What do I need for this guy? Let's keep the map in mind to make sure that I'm on the right track, that I'm not screwing up the foundation, that I don't end up with a leaning tower. Okay, great. So this is very super basic. But yay is super basic, but at the same time, there's not enough detail for them to actually execute anything. Okay, how do we get there? This is the bottom line. Well, to fill out how we get there, we need a level 2. So now we take the same document that is super clear, but doesn't have enough detail for people to pull it off. And I said somewhere in there, now I'm going to take the microscope to this thing. And we realize once we adjust the microscope that, we need a little more filler in between, like the plasma between molecules in a cell or whatever. So if I turn up the microscope, we see that we need preparation for each of these phases. Okay, so what do we do to prepare for each phase, or for each deliverable or stage, or whatever you want to call it? Prep 1, you need this, and this. I don't need to go into too much more detail. But for this, you need GABAD for PowerPoint and some invite stuff. You need this for level 1. You need this for level 2. And I put these things in blue because I knew that, these are conversations all into themselves. How do guide? We need a standardization guide. Oh, well, how do we do a standardization guide? Instead of getting lost in those details, I said, that's not this level. Screw it. I want to focus on just this stuff. So this is what we do for prep 3. This is what we do, keeping the map, making things visual, pictures worth 1,000 words, super clear, one thing at a time, scaffolding, it's all the same. And prep 5. So then, like I just said, some of these preps require little things about, extra pieces. And of course, they're them being like pretty low on resources and not in the know. How do we set up those little pieces? Well, now we're talking about level 3. So let's go back. Where were we? We were at level 2. Okay, well, some of this stuff here, not so much, because they're pretty simple affairs. Like a 3-5 minute announcement is not going to take much more preparation than what I already put. But some of this will. Some of this stuff, you need to consult the famous spreadsheet that I've been working on with Audrey over the past several months. And you need a live training for this software. You need workshops. You need the capsules. You need the user guide. For the follow up, you need a checklist to make sure everyone is competent. You need this. Okay, well, how do we get to all this stuff? And then basically, here's how you do this piece. And I use the icons on purpose to, again, pictures worth 1,000 words, make the connection. This is what you need to set this up. This is what you need to set this up, etc., etc., etc. And then at the end, I said, okay, well, look, I covered everything here except LMS. You're not ready for LMS, so we can discuss this further. This is on its way. I covered everything else. So, I mean, that's almost a side course in how to flesh things out and how to unwind the ball of string that you've been given. Like, if it's all balled up or elastics or whatever, and you gotta sort all this stuff out. But it's really like a course in scaffolding. This is what I do as part of my tools to be able to explain to the client, okay, this is where we're at in this particular case. So side course aside, what happens here? Basically, it's me going through the motions there and explaining this stuff. And I figured I'd share a couple of minutes of this, maybe the first 6, 7, and you'll notice, one thing I got over quickly, or I had to get over quickly, is being perfect, because it's far from it. I could listen to this and almost half want to cringe because, oh man, I use the and ah. I come from Toastmasters and I'm still having that as a bad habit. And my God, and why am I hesitant? But I don't want to practice this for 8 hours either, just to make it all smooth. And the irony is, or not so much of an irony, but the interesting part is that I say I do it. I may stumble on first or second take just because of a need to warm up. And then once I get on a roll for a minute or two, I'm like, okay, whether I stumble or not, this is good enough. I send it off, and you saw Edward's comments there that he pasted yesterday. Oh, it's always a pleasure to see that. Always a great time watching your video, your presentations, and blah blah blah. So let's sit through some of this, and you'll see it's far from perfect, but it does the job. So let me just play a second or two just to have you confirm that that you hear the video. I do believe I clicked share sound, so I want you to confirm that. Communication, j'espère que vous allez bien. Okay, so I'll just do like into the first layer. I gave you, I spoiled the plot for you, so you don't need to watch the whole thing, and you're not, except Roger, you're not involved in the project as well. But just note the imperfections, but how I go about, the tone, the friendliness, how I'm laid back. I'm not trying to, deliver an official speech. I'm not nervous. I'm just flowing with my state of mind that I just shared with you, and yeah, this is the result. So. Bonjour, ici Georges de Sujet Communication, j'espère que vous allez bien. Et je suis là avec une autre vidéo pour parler cette fois-ci du plan de formation MVP révisé. Donc, c'est la suite ou l'élaboration du PowerPoint que j'avais reçu il y a quelques jours. Et j'ai élaboré sur les détails là-dedans, comme on va voir sous peu. Avant qu'on débute, j'ai mis un petit avis ici parce que j'ai dit que le plan, c'est une collection maintenant de plusieurs idées, de meilleures pratiques basées sur nos expériences. Mais à ce point-ci, pour mettre la touche finale là-dessus, il faudrait vraiment avoir une petite rencontre ou suite à avoir visionné la vidéo et la présentation pour nous dire okay, qu'est-ce qui est faisable, est-ce qu'il y a quelque chose, un détail qui m'échappe, pour voir s'il faut réduire les attentes ou les détails ou les livrables proposés ou les étapes, et ainsi de suite. Alors, à voir, mais pour l'instant, quand même, je pense que nous sommes assez proches de tous les détails que vous nous demandiez. Alors, j'ai rien changé ici non plus, ici non plus. Alors, ici, on va commencer avec les changements directement sur ce diapo. J'ai eu du mal à travailler avec ce diapo, aussi simple que ça a l'air, parce que dans ma tête, la manière que je marche avec le cerveau d'un ingénieur, je voulais voir un peu plus de structure pour saisir toute la démarche de manière claire et simple. Mais en autant que, même malgré le fait qu'on a plusieurs informations ici, on avait encore beaucoup plus d'informations à rentrer là-dedans. Je constate qu'une fois que je voulais inclure tous les petits détails, tout n'allait pas rentrer dans cette diapo-là. Il y a plus aussi, bien que j'aime la simplicité, il y a aussi le fait qu'il y a de la complexité sur le déroulement de tous nos plans. Alors, il a fallu que je pense à diverses manières de tout présenter ça dans toute son complexité, mais en même temps de manière simple. Alors, pas une tâche simple. Et c'est pourquoi j'ai pris un peu plus de temps que prévu. J'ai lutté avec un peu plus que prévu, mais je crois bien que j'ai finalement arrivé à quelque chose qui ressemble à la lumière à la fin du tunnel. Alors, pour vous expliquer comment j'ai tout arrivé à ça, on va continuer avec ce que j'appelle le niveau 1. Donc, j'ai considéré pour ce projet qu'on a plusieurs niveaux de détails. Et j'aime bien commencer avec le niveau le plus simple, soit les 4 étapes qui m'ont été envoyées, qu'on vient juste de voir. Alors, les revoilà. Et tout d'abord, je me suis dit, OK, je vois presque rien, et surtout ici, alors je vais changer de couleur. Bon, alors là, c'est mieux, mais je veux distinguer qu'est-ce qui est le modèle, les idées de qu'est-ce qui est les informations, les données. Donc, par la suite, j'ai fait cette distinction en enlevant le gras des données. Alors là, j'ai commencé à analyser. Ah, OK, on voit qu'il y a un quoi, les acteurs, quand, où, durée, public, statut. Parfait. Quoi, acteur, quand, où, durée, public, statut. OK, so far so good. Ah, pourquoi y a-t-il une autre catégorie ici qui ne figure pas là? Ici, on a quoi, sujet? Ok, ce sujet ne figure pas là. Vous voyez comme la manière de mon cerveau marche, je veux du parallélisme, je veux que ça soit vraiment structuré identiquement pour qu'on puisse comparer des pommes à des pommes. OK? Alors, je me suis dit, OK, recommençons. On va garder ça en tête dans le stationnement, dans le parking lot d'idées. Et pour l'instant, on va vider le contenu et juste commencer avec ça. Ça, c'est notre base, notre fondation. Module 0, fac formation, fac accompagnement. Et de là, je me suis dit, OK, là, peux commencer à me concentrer un peu mieux. J'ai juste 4 titres à composer avec. Mais même à seulement 4 titres à composer avec, je me suis dit, je veux apporter des ajustements à ces titres-là. Module 1, je pense que ça provient d'Edouard et je comprends de quoi il parlait. Module 1, on parle toujours d'une petite introduction à quelque chose. Le contexte normal, c'est que on a un ensemble de modules dans un projet donné et le module 0 sert comme introduction et un avant-perçu de ce qui va se dévoiler dans les prochains modules. Alors, c'est comme le avant-goût. Mais dans ce contexte ici, on ne va pas avoir une série de modules, on va avoir une série de capsules et des fois une classe en direct et d'autres livrables, d'autres formes de livraison. Alors, je ne pensais pas que le nom était correct et précis dans ce cas-ci. Ensuite, formation, c'est correct, sauf je voulais le rendre plus général, j'ai enlevé le S. Et fac accompagnement, je voulais pas mélanger ce fac avec ce fac où il y aura des périodes de questions dans les deux cas, mais je pense que le fac primaire et primordial, c'est celui-ci. Et accompagnement, je l'ai gardé plus tard, mais pour pouvoir donner un nom plus clair dans ce stade-ci, je l'ai sauvé pour des détails plus tard, mais pour ce stade-ci, j'ai préféré un autre nom. Donc, je suis allé de ceci à annonce, fac, formation, suivi. Alors, un announcement en bout de ligne, je pense que c'est plus clair et vous allez voir que je suis gros amateur et très aidé à propos de la clarté, de la simplicité. Alors, je répète ça, mais j'arrête de faire ça par la suite. Alors, une annonce, le fac, formation et suivi. Alors, on part de là. Ensuite, je me suis dit, OK, qu'est-ce qu'on veut accomplir d'une étape à l'autre? Alors, j'ai commencé à découper l'image avec des bâtons, si vous voulez, des diviseurs. Et je me suis dit, OK, où nous sommes maintenant, le monde serait un peu incertain parce que c'est toujours en flux. L'état du projet, les changements, les ajustements, blablabla. Donc, on a besoin d'une annonce pour arriver à être que le monde soit informé. OK, le monde soit informé à propos de où on s'en va, etc. On va voir ça plus tard. Et suite au fac, ils seront plus préparés. Et vous allez voir plus tard où je m'en vais avec ces adjectifs-là. Mais maintenant qu'ils sont préparés pour la formation, on peut nous lancer là-dedans. Et à ce stade-ci, le public sera formé. Et suite au suivi, les sessions de pratique et tout ça dans l'accompagnement, ils seront adaptés. Donc, adaptés au changement et prêts à opérer dans le nouveau monde, si vous voulez, du cirque. Alors là que j'ai établi ça, j'ai commencé à tomber un peu plus dans les détails. Boom. Skip a bit to the end. Get the idea. I just do. Que je pense que SAP pourrait agir comme un LMS au lieu de la compagnie Merix, si je ne m'abuse pas, si j'ai pas tort. Alors, je pense que c'est quand même incertain, au moins pour nous, pour moi, qu'est-ce que vous allez faire avec le LMS. Mais autrement, c'est correct. Gabarit avec image de marque, nous sommes en train de les développer en ce moment. Je crois bien que je serai en mesure de vous donner des premiers jets de gabarit demain. Fait que c'est tout pour l'instant. Alors, je vous invite, suite à cette vidéo, de lire la présentation en plus de détails et me revenir pour me fournir questions, feedback. Mais à ce point-ci, c'est pas mal um, tous les points fondamentaux que je voulais amener à la présentation. Donc, je crois bien que nous voyons, comme je dis, la lumière à la fin du tunnel. Fait que sur ce, je vous laisse. Merci encore une fois et à la prochaine. Alrighty. That's pretty much all I intend to show this right now. Any comments?
That's great.
Thank
Very
you.
clear.
Thank you.
It also feels like it's a faster way to explain something. Sometimes, like I noticed with Abbott, we'll schedule meetings just to like touch base, show them everything we did. And sometimes we're waiting for that meeting just to get feedback on a deliverable or whatever. This is a much faster way or convenient way. You don't have to wait for that meeting, schedule a meeting, get everyone's availabilities. You just send it off and then they'll give you feedback that way. Just seems like a much more efficient way of getting it done.
Thank you, Amanda. Yeah, indeed. Just like you can have, like, all the world's a metaphor to me. So just like I don't feel like writing some bloody 40-page 40-page report that the client's already telling me would cure her insomnia. I'm like, here, bam. But just like you don't want to wait around, days, schedule a meeting, this guy's on vacation, this woman,
Mhm.
Here's what I need to tell you. Bang. Finished.
Yeah.
I think Audrey, were you with me with Poussière Combustible assisting here and there, or was that before? I forget whether you were involved in that. But basically, Poussière Combustible, one of our first projects of this generation, we had worked years ago. I think we completed that, aside from the kickoff, the live kickoff, with 0 live meetings. I did an explanation instead of an explanation of this plan. I did an explanation of the design doc, an explanation of the storyboard, how you look at the storyboard, and what the different things mean, and how you make the corrections. Otherwise, that I would otherwise wait around for them to be available. But these are guys that sometimes have shift work, so I don't care if you look at it at 2 in the morning. Here's what I need to tell you. Enjoy your video at 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
that too, the philosophy of needing to wait around, that's so freaking passé. The world is speeding up so fast. I'm reading reports about futurism and stuff. We don't have time for that shit anymore. That's freaking not. That's not. It's VCRs. It's not even VHS. It's beta. Like kill it. You want to gain your time back. You want to stay on your timeline in the on the meet your deadlines on the timeline. That's it. And I made some notes here. Like, notice how completely unperfect I am. I think I'd be more fluent in English, frankly, but French, okay, well, the situation calls for French. I'm going to speak in French. And you hear my ums. I noted, oops, I said sans complexité. Ooh, I messed up grammar here and there. Sometimes I said module 1 instead of module 0. And I get this big, oh my God, thank you for this amazing presentation. Didn't you see how clunky it was? And yet still people, at least right now, we have the advantage of this is relatively revolutionary. It's not like we invented Loom, but people are doing this. But to our clients, this is so refreshing. They're so overwhelmed by that they're easily glossing over my little stumbles and bumbles that are all over the place. So I played that on purpose. You see, I'm not being a total entertaining, one-man show or whatever, aside from what I naturally exude to the best of my abilities. But oh my God, it's so amazing. Okay, thanks. So go through it. Note also, don't do this and then shoot yourself in the foot by spending, I'm going to avoid a 40-hour report by making a 40-hour PowerPoint and practicing for 40 hours either. I didn't put any stupid little dinky PowerPoint animations, to illustrate how I, went from the clutter of the first 4-circle slide with the black writing you can't even read I just did one slide at a time, step by step. I didn't animate and let's make the words, let's fade out the text and make the words come. Nah. you know, whatever gets the job done as fast as freaking possible. Like paste, 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 paste. I'm gonna clear out the text here. I'm gonna make it bold here. I'm gonna, you know, blah blah blah. This is not, you know, this is not worthy of making a. This is a wrong, you know, wrong allocation of time if you get carried away with the PowerPoint. I have 0 animations in there. I talk it through. I bumbled my way through, and they still loved it. And oh yeah, and the tone, conversational, frank, authentic. Remember, I said, you know, every development, every, like, you know, innovation, I can't think of an exception, comes from some sort of need. I said up front, j'ai eu du mal à continuer avec la manière que c'était. I found it, and I'll keep using it. It's in the back of my head here, virtually, like Leaning Tower of Pisa. Like I can see what you want to do, but I don't like the inconsistencies. I think I need to gut it out. I need to drain the swamp and start from scratch with the essence of what you're trying to convey. So that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm gonna clear your crap. I'll bring it back later under my terms where it makes sense for me, and it'll make sense for you because as an ID, I have the ability to do so. I'm like, you know, the sort of the, like, the savior with the brain here that they called upon us for to begin with. Grammatical error. Oh yeah, and you had the idea after 6-7 minutes, and I fast forwarded to the end. Anyone who want to take a guess why I fast forwarded to the end and wanted to show you the last minute?
Because what you said something about Studio 7, but I forget what it was. Is that what you're referring to? When you had those 2 columns? That slide?
What did I do at the end of the video?
The call to action.
Thank you. That's the $1 million term. You're, you know, very appropriate that you're wearing green and everything. That's the money. That's the money term right there. Call to action. And I'm not doing this for their freaking entertainment either. Let me present you everything in as clear a manner as I can, so that you now, because we're, you know, it takes 2 to make a thing go right. Now you now can get back to us with what you need clarification on, what's unrealistic, so I can clear out the stuff based on your feedback, and we could call it a day, at least for this stage. If you want more, pay more. But this is what you're getting. I think it's very fitting and very appropriate bang for your buck. But to make it perfectly, you know, dot the I's and cross the T's, I just need you to tell me what you think, what you're unclear on, so I can maximize that value. For me, it'll take another hour of talking, another hour after that of tweaking. And if they dare ask more, if they open up a Pandora's box of, could you just do, you know, levels 4 to 10, which I could easily go into, you know, forever and never and never. It's just a rabbit hole that I can go down to. But I said, your bus stops here. This is what we can offer at this, with this, the money of this project, or the hours of this project. I'm happy to answer questions up to level 3. And if you want more, and they're talking about months to come, well, Ed talks to, you know, our big cheese talks to their big cheese, and at least we'd get paid for it, you know. And hopefully I could get more people on it more often to alleviate it for me. But yeah, the whole point was I went through all this trouble to figure it out for myself. I need to clear it out for you. The manner in which I made it clear for myself, I believe, will make it clear for you as well. Now that you're all enchanted and clear yourself and enlightened, great. You're enlightened and you want more. Here's your call to action. Ball's in your court. Okay, get back to us, meeting, and then good luck. Or where's the check for part 2? So that's it. Off the top of my head, that's all I have to convey about videos and the tone, and they don't have to be perfect. And this is how you make them worth everyone's while, and how they save time. And I never want to go back, you know, unless there's something that's to be gained by a written thing for a record, maybe, you know, just more of a due process or records of something in case they come back and say you never did this. But no, but in terms of the guts of something, that's it. And I even, when talking about covering our butts, I even had that avis, and I mentioned that, and I talked about it again early on. Look, this is everything that I have to offer you, but I know that we need to tweak based on your reality. So get back to me. That was also part of the call to action. But I think, you know, I hope that I will have conveyed that I have conveyed all the advantages and all the convenience of doing so, and encourage you to already like unplug the beliefs before you even brought them up, or even before they even creep into your mind of it needing to be super shiny perfect. I just did my best, and lumps and warts and all, and they loved it, and everyone's happy, and we get to move on. That's it. Cool. You're
We
good?
need to start using it, practicing it.
Absolutely. Look, everyone can get an account, a free account that will give you 5 minutes. If you want to practice for real, I mean, by all means, I'll share my account. I mean, it's Studio 7 pays for it anyway, so really, my account is your account, and it's I don't think there's any conflict or any issue in doing so.
Nice. I could try it for my the report that I have to send to CN, telling them about all the tiny things on the screenshots.
Yeah.
So I can just put the screenshots together and tell them, okay, this is screenshot this. Please tell me what to do.
Exactly. Yes. You could demo it on video, and then if you want to make sure they don't forget anything, you can make an itemized list in an email. As per the video, please associate this to this, and here's a list, whatever, your specific situation. Yeah, so I am handing you a rocket ship. Do not go back to the tricycles.
Thank
You
you.
want to be left behind in this hyper-changing world. This is what makes Studio 7 a cut above. All right, we're good.
Sounds cool. Thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.